strength. He is a rational actor. I don't see him as an irrational person. And so it's necessary for the United States as leader of the West to be strong. And that means building up our NATO forces in Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland to indicate to Putin, show him that we're not going to be pushed around there. And I think it also means that we ought to be giving the Ukrainian government some reason to try to recover from its present situation. I favor the transfer of U.S. weapons to the Ukrainian government to make this a fairer fight and to raise the cost to Putin.
Talking about Vladimir Putin, Russia's recent moves in Ukraine, aggression has stepped up, heavy fighting there again, despite all of the warnings. Then you have the other things Russia's doing, selling surface-to-air missiles to Iran, intercepting international flights in a U.S. reconnaissance plane in international airspace in the Baltic Sea, sending ships into the English Channel. You have the efforts to hack the State Department, and arguably the White House as well, although they won't confirm that. What is going on? We're back with the panel. Steve.
Well, and you had 400 Russian troops doing an exercise in the pro-Russian region of Moldova last week. I mean, this is clearly Russia flexing its muscles, trying to demonstrate that it's not going to be scared off of further expansionism. And if you're Vladimir Putin, the calculation has to be, I've got 21 months left with Barack Obama left in office. He's clearly shown no will to actually try to stop me or to push aggressively to try to stop me from the things that I've been doing. I need to do what I want to do, and I need to do it quickly.
Chuck.
In a way, this is a new chapter, and we haven't even talked about the ballistic missiles with Iran, which will change the calculus around the whole nuclear deal. But this is a new chapter in an old story, and the old story is Vladimir Putin believes the fall of the Soviet Union was a geopolitical disaster, right, and he is doing everything he possibly can within his capabilities to restore as much of that old sphere of influence as possible. This is a person who does not share Western Europe and the United States, current United States government's belief that soft power is all and we live in an era of interdependence. He believes that hard power is what decides things in the world, and that there's a zero-sum game going on between him and his rivals in the geopolitical landmass that used to be the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe. And I think we can expect more of the same, not just through the rest of the Obama administration, but beyond.
I mean, Nick Burns, no right-winger, saying that he favors the transfer of weapons into Ukraine. Why has that not happened?
Well, the administration obviously believes, and they have said it would be counterproductive, that the Ukrainians can't use these weapons. They lack the training and capability to effectively employ them. The president has been very clear that he thinks this would just be more trouble than it's worth. And I got to say, I think that is a view that, well, let's just say Nick Burns understands the mistake there, which is Putin respects strength. He takes advantage when people allow him more space.
Charles.
You don't have to go to Nick Burns. You go to Obama's own Secretary of Defense. He supports the transfer of weapons to Ukraine. It is inconceivable. It's unexplainable why, inexplicable probably is the right word, why Obama is not doing this. I mean, I think it goes all the way back. You talk about Putin seeing the collapse of the Soviet Union as the biggest disaster of the 20th century. True. But that factor has remained constant for the last 15 years with Putin in power. He's never altered that, but he was cautious when he had to deal with presidents who would put up resistance. The reason he's out of control now is he knows who he's dealing with. This is an open door. Obama said in his first speech to the UN in 2009 that alliances based on the old divisions of the Cold War are obsolete. He essentially said NATO is done. And then he gives a message through the president of Russia at the time, saying, tell Vladimir that in my second term after the election I'll be more flexible. Vladimir gets all these messages, a direct one from Obama, I'll go easy on you, and then he watches the behavior of the United States. Why shouldn't he be marching all over Europe? Why shouldn't he be threatening the coast of Britain? And why shouldn't he be taking as much of Ukraine as he can with Obama in power?
Quickly, Steve, General Wes Clark, just back from Ukraine, says more than half of the European monitors policing violations of the ceasefire are members of the Russian military. or Russian intelligence service?
Fox guarding the henhouse. Look, that's part of the problem. I mean, we're not serious about confronting Putin. We're not serious about stopping him. All of the things that Chuck cited as what the administration says for not providing these weapons, he's right. That's exactly what they're saying, but it's a bunch of excuse making. After we initially decided not to send weapons, the Ukrainians begged us to send technology, to send computers that would work, that could talk to one another. We refused even those requests, and then they asked for intelligence. We refused those requests too.